Hi everybody, it's Nana Marie in Quebec City, and I was thinking today it might be easier for me to do a shorter video by doing it through images that I have. These are just a few I'm going to show you that I have collected since, well, they have either come to me by chance or I've just had them here. I never went out and searched for any of these photos that I am going to show you. They just appear sometimes in the right time and the right place. But this is my story, and my story is the Spirit of Mary story and the reincarnation story. And everything I do and everything I say is for my movie, to show you how to create your own movie. I have to show you how I've created mine. And all I can say is follow along and watch to the end, because sometimes people miss the best part of my videos. If they hear something and triggered by something and they want to give up on me like this lady did, I can't tell you how many times people have said to me, well, you lost me when you said we're all Christ, or you're not a God, that's blasphemy. Well, this is my story, and if you don't want to hear it and you don't want to know about what I know in my heart, you don't have to. We're not taking prisoners. I am not harmed because there's a billion other people that agree with you, and I don't care. I don't care if you don't get it. Okay, I really don't care. All I care about is making sure that the truth is out there, and then I'm done. It's going to start with the religion, right? And they've put the fear of God into everybody for 2,600 years. It's all about fear. And this says, look, you going to hell. Oh my God, you too. And it's a Christian with the Muslim woman. The Great Awakening, once you realize that you are a slave to a satanic system, you'll have a better understanding of how the world really works. Very few people know that the original Greek translation of the apocalypse means lifting of the veil or revelation, a disclosure of something hidden from the majority of mankind in an era dominated by falsehood and misconception. Far from being a horrible experience. What the heck is going on? I did not put this in. Oh my God. Wow. What? Lucifer is not Satan. Okay. These are the photos I was just about to show you. I'm being spiritually interfered with. This shit never happened. Now grow the fuck up. What? show you something. I did not expect that to pop up. I thought it was just the photo, but it was a video. I can't remember when I did it, but I know I must have done that video. Maybe when I was in PTSD, when all of this was coming to light. Okay, let's move on then. That was fun. I'm here about spirit awakening and empowerment, that we have a magical miracle inside of us. We don't die. There's spiritual intelligence all around us. Artificial intelligence has us cast in a cage. When you were a child, you did know everything. We were removed from our own intelligence. I don't know if you can see this okay. That's me in Vancouver in 1965. That is me and my baby. I was 18 years old. And it's a beautiful story that sort of helps me be able to show you the similarities between the Jesus and Mary story and the Cheryl and Trevor Forever story. I've told you that my father and son are twin flames of the same spirit. This is my dad, born in 1939 on Easter Sunday. That was not put there. It somehow arrived there, some reflection. And he was born in Star City, Saskatchewan. I sense now that he is the spirit of Elvis Presley's twin brother, who died in 1938. This was the Last Supper my dad had made in prison in 1968. Let's turn on the light. Maybe it'll be better, easier to see. No, lighting's not very good, is it? There we go. It was gifted to me in 1968. He shipped it out of the prison to me. Well, to my grandmother, and she gave it to me, and he had my name on the back. He has 5 children, so why me? Who knew? Now I know. We all know. There's things we know in spirit we don't know in ego. We do things in our regular day-to-day lives that are actually spiritually driven. We just don't know why we do them or why we encountered such a situation, but a lot of times it's on purpose and deliberate. This is Trevor. He died 1 month after his 25th birthday. This was in May 27th, 1978. The reason why I put this picture here is to show you a cake, which I wasn't a very domesticated person, and it was the first homemade cake I'd ever made him, and I just felt I wanted to make him a homemade cake, as lopsided as it was, and I felt the urge to put dimes in it, so it was odd and not realized at the time why. And then 1 month later, on 1 month and 1 day later, June 28th, 2003, he died in Edmonton, Alberta. There's a lot of that story I won't get into now. After Trevor died, I found dimes everywhere. Everywhere. I found dimes with the Bluetooth ship face up. And I just had to take a picture this day that I found like I couldn't even count in 1 day. Other things we find are feathers. My granddaughter was finding feathers everywhere. This morning I found a feather in my kitchen. It was the smallest of feathers. I wonder if I still have it here. Yep, I do. It just all of a sudden show up out of nowhere. Feathers and dimes. Other people that have had loved ones crossed over get similar signs and symbols. This is me in Ephesus, Turkey. It was 2 years after Trevor died. I was on antidepressants and I just wanted to spend some money and go get, that is, dodge, if you will. I was leaving my husband. This was when I had just left my husband after 20 years of marriage. And there I was, found myself in the Mediterranean, of all places. And this was in Ephesus, Turkey. And they were just digging up the site then. And they were advertising it as the place where Mary was held in exile after Jesus died. She said she saw the spirit of Jesus, and she was called Lucifer for that. And when I was there, they were acting all very religious and uptight, and you had to put on a whole bunch of clothes to go into this so-called cage, well, house that they said was her house, and that this was her pool. They advertised this thing in the ground as a pool. Well, at the time, even with all those drugs in me, it's not all those drugs, probably one pill, but it lobotomizes you. You don't have your full spirit when you're on those drugs at all. But I felt in this hole, I felt that it was full of heads. I felt this was a place where they were beheading women. Like, it was full of heads in my mind's eye. And I don't know if you can see, this was a marble that was on the ground. And this is an image of a woman with a crown on it. It's a very strange hat thing that I drew. I'm going to show you in a few minutes. I drew a picture of a woman with some kind of strange crown head. And it was out of Ireland, though. I felt, but this marble, I asked the tour guide, what does this marble mean? And he said, oh, it's just the path to the prostitutes. And I just felt, no, you're lying. That's not what it is. I believe that Ephesus, Turkey is the center point of where they enslaved women, because that's our whole issue. They enslaved women using fables and hypnosis with the Garden of Eden and demonizing Eve in the eyes of God. This crown kept coming up over and over. It's about the religions have blinded us. And if we make fun of the Muslims and how they cover up their women, well, Western women are blind. They're blind, blind, blind to their gifts and their amazing power within. They promise us heaven so they can steal the world. That's what they did with these scriptures. After the beings of light visited me in 2016, and I had some trauma afterwards, I went into PTSD. It was hell, hell, hell. I told you that, the truth will put your mind into hell in a lot of cases. Well, when I got to Montreal from British Columbia, I was in a park with some craft supplies, and I just put together, I wasn't thinking. There's no thinking in my brain at all at the time. And I did this art. And I started to pull cards just a little bit before this. And a card I pulled at the park said, I can change my patterns when I change my mind about them. So when you can change your mind, you will change your brain. You can change your brain. And if you're in doubt, this is another card I pulled. If you're in doubt, play it out. I play it out. I play out everything. I've told my subscribers I could be wrong on certain things, especially when it comes to details. I was given the big picture. I was shown my movie and given the big picture of the world. And I can't possibly narrow it down or be accurate in every detail. There's just way too much. But whenever I'm wrong or something, I make sure I come back and tell you. When in doubt, I play it out. Well, here it is. This was around the same time I was doing some doodling, and I just felt that this is where I'm from. And these are just some doodles I did. And ever since Trevor died, I began to see coded numbers on the clocks, like 1111 was the first one, four ones. I saw it four times, like I saw it 11:11. I saw it at 1:11. I saw it at 11:11 at night, and I saw it all the time. Another one I saw all the time was 911 or 119. Numbers are clues. This is in a fifth level of intelligence, a fifth level of, I guess they call it the fifth dimension. If you don't understand me or you don't get it, stay with me, because you should. You should, and you shall get it. You will get it. Why not get it now? After Trevor died, I also went to Tennessee for a retreat with grieving parents. And this was in Nashville, Tennessee, the Coyote Ugly we went to. After we went to this place, we went to I don't know, I can't even remember what it was, but they pulled cards there. I don't think it was a card pulling place, but I'm sorry about my lack of memory on that, but I pulled cards, and the girls they treated me differently after this. They treated me like they were afraid of me. People often treat me like they're afraid of me, but they don't know what to say. But these cards say, accept the gifts of the universe, you're the boss, and remember to breathe. Now, this was back in 2004, well before I had any idea of my spirit. But isn't it funny that I happen to have these pictures on hand for when I did wake? And this was the other one where I got these cards from a math professor out of Alberta, came to my clinical hypnotherapy practice, and I pulled the first three cards. It was the star, the moon, and the sun. And that is all about my story as well, because you think we're on a spinning ball, and you think that we're, yeah, you know what we think. What we think here is completely wrong. They have duped us in our intelligence. They've made us really, really stupid. And people end up feeling really stupid and duped. Trust me, when you get it, you really feel like you're being mocked all the time and that they really think you're so stupid. But none of us are. They just make us think we are. But I awoke only to see that the rest of the world was still asleep. This face in this meme that just showed up out of nowhere looks like the same face I saw in my mind's eye when Trevor was 13. He came to me and he said Trevor was in trouble. That's all he said. And I didn't get it. I went and asked Trevor, are you in trouble? No, Mom, I'm not. Well, yeah, he was being raped by my husband. My husband targeted me for my son. I was given warnings, but still did not do anything. This was when I was in severe PTSD, and before I only just became conscious of my spirit in the last couple of years, where I really take hold of it and own it. I own the story, and if anybody else wants the story, you can have it, but you got to have the same background I have to own it. But this was, I don't know, I don't even remember taking this picture. I just saw it today, and I wrote Mockingbird Hill, cancer, and I did have lung cancer at the time that the beings of light came. So this may be, just before they came, the beings of light. Well, I got help. I woke up one day and realized, what the fuck, there's nothing wrong with me, and never looked back. And I put this up here for you. I want you to wake up one day and realize, what the fuck, there is nothing wrong with me, and never look back. Sometimes you just have to stay silent, because no words can explain what's going on in your mind and heart. I was brutalized by the hospital where I lived in the community. I'm a target of the government. I get targeted all the time and gaslit of my reality. I don't go around talking about anything to anyone in the medical community. They still hijack me. I was taken to, I went for a thyroid check at the hospital once, for an example, and the clerk, the triage clerk, isolated me and put me into a state of PTSD. He was totally gaslighting my reality, saying there was something wrong with me over and over and over. It was such a torture. It was 30 hours of torture at the hospital. They put me in an isolation. They gave me, tried to give me drugs, and I said, I absolutely don't want those drugs. I just want my thyroid test. And somehow, some way, that clerk, a male one, was able to get a doctor to certify me that night, and I was put in a suicide cell. I was not even upset. I was as normal as I am right now, but they see my file and I am a target, and there are many fucking people who are targets, and they're put into such a state of mind that they can't even talk, and if they try to talk, they sound insane. Well, I'm telling you, Nazi Germany Jew Freud started this psychiatric system that targets women. And you don't trust women. You don't trust bipolar. You've got all sorts of horror stories about them because they are emotionally reacting to what is going on. And emotional reactions are something you need to listen to. But people have allowed it to go on for all of these years, all of these decades. Women have been drugged and institutionalized for her emotions. And anything you allow your government to do to other people, they're going to be able to do to you. And you can see it now. They're picking up people for anything. They're saying the wrong thing. They get picked up and taken away and tortured, emotionally tortured. And if you don't know what that feels like, you're going to feel it one day. And the problem is that we don't have the problem isn't that we don't have access to the truth. It's that most people don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. It's not in their realm of problems right now. And what I'm saying, it is a huge problem. I don't know who died in Nazi Germany there. I believe it was mostly seniors, women, and children again, and men that don't toe the line. I honestly believe that. You can't tell me, because I had German people I knew who had different stories about the Second World War that I'd never heard in school, never read it in a book. And one was, a friend of mine said when he was a child, 5 years old, he was born in Germany, and when he was 5 years old, people came in and shot his entire family. The army came in and shot his entire family. And he's not Jewish. And I said, well, how does that work? Like, yeah, more truth has come out about the Germans being slaughtered, but I think everybody had just better realize that this is never ended. It went covert. But it's easier to fool people than it is to convince them that they've been fooled. If you want to know how a civilized culture, if you want to look at how civilized a culture is, look at how they treat women. Now, what's your first thought when you think of that? You're thinking about Muslims with their headgear and all that, or some other ethnic group treating their women bad? Oh no, it's worse here. We don't give a shit about her dignity. We don't care what we say or what we do to her in public. We really don't care, and we mock her. It's the Mockingbird program. It's mock, 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 until your mother is fucking a psychopath or crazy or dead or just sitting there wondering when she can die. We are raising our boys to be perverted against women, And when they're perverted against women, they're perverted against their mother. You can't do this. They have normalized evil consciousness here. It's normal to be evil here. Typically normal. And that's why I really can't mingle. It's typical and normal to be evil thinking. This is Jimmy Carter, says the abuse of women and girls is the most pervasive and unaddressed human rights violation on earth. Now, it's funny, I just got a check the other day from book sales. I haven't sold I wrote a book in 2011, and it's my story before my consciousness of Mary came. But it really didn't sell. It doesn't sell, and I don't really promote it a lot. But it is my story. If you're interested, it's at Amazon. I don't get money for it. My check came today or yesterday for $30. Well, actually $33, but I don't want to say that because everybody will think I'm a Freemason. But yeah, $33. So it probably sold about 30 books because I get about $1 a book. And but the company that published my book really have taken every dime that I don't care really if it sells. But I was surprised to see. So maybe some people are tapping into me or my story, and that's great. A psychiatrist, I did book signings. I did an interview in California at a university about psychopaths and narcissists because I did a lot of research. And my parents were narcissistic and psychopathic, and I did a lot of research on it. And one psychiatrist said that in a review at Amazon.com, she said that she uses my book for teaching her students. So it is a good book, but you probably can get more out of me now than from then because I've got a lot. Now, whoops. At least now, I have my spiritual feelings to go with the story. I didn't have feelings. You don't have feelings when you're in trauma. And don't judge my choices without understanding my reasons, is what I say. In order to love who you are, you can't hate the experiences that shaped you. I don't hate my experiences anymore. That's why, the book's useless, because I don't hate that anymore. I don't hate my life. I love it. Everything was designed for today. And there's my mother, my twin flame, the psychopath. And in spirit, we can bond again after death. You have to be willing to accept the people that maybe you're decorded from and reopen that door, because we don't die and nothing is hidden. And this is a satanic world who taught us how to treat our children like tough love, mad mothers, and it's destroying children. Great minds think alone. In the end, we only regret the chances we didn't take. I take a lot of risks here, a lot of risks opening my mouth, but I know I will regret if I don't do what my heart compels me to do. I don't want to live in regret anymore. I already regret what I missed with my son. The hardest walk is walking alone, but if you let it, it's the walk that can make you the strongest. One is loved because one is loved. No reason is needed for loving. Really think about that one. We use thoughts that really stop us and block us from loving. We judge. And Jesus warned about the judge. The true test of humanity is how humane we are to each other. And we're failing. This is a fail. F. I give it a big, I got my red pen here. I had a dream when I was a kid. I was a teacher with a big red pen. Yep. Fail. And you ask me, because in my homeless trek, I got to encounter a shitload of people. And guess who gets trampled on the most? Is the people that have fallen, like went homeless, have problems. They are taken advantage of and used by takers. There's so many takers in the world. Everybody's in fear, so they take. Being an American patriot is easy. You don't have to know anything. You just have to repeat everything you hear on TV. And if anyone disagrees, you call them a crazy conspiracy theorist who hates America. They wrap words around ways to abuse you and make you feel like you're crazy. Now, here we go into some memes that showed up. Before all of this medical thing was coming to light, crib death was so infrequent in the pre-vaccination era that it was not even mentioned in the statistics. But it started to climb in the 1950s with the spread of mass jab. And that's a doctor. SIDS, asthma, eczema, autism, diabetes, peanut allergies. Not sure of the cause, but don't worry, this injection of from formaldehyde, aluminum, mercury, human and animal DNA that was manufactured in China is perfectly safe. This is Nazi Germany. This is torture. And people get these. Do you have people in your family with the disease? They're being tortured. It's not coming from their genes. Trust me, we're born perfect without any flaws. We are created here. It's a satanic world. And the problem is everyone's looking for unconditional love, carrying a bag full of conditions. This is a meme that showed up, and it really bothers me a bit because I don't understand it still completely, but it says, chemical trails are required for the exorcism of demonic possession. And I think I said that a few months ago, that I noticed that my landlord suddenly was lobotomized. Like he seemed really, really evil when I first moved in here. It could be. I don't know. I always say that you don't believe everything that you think you know just because you heard it before. I feel that the chemical trails may be Christ inspired. They really may be. I think we give artificial intelligence too much credit. Anyway, I'll just leave it there because I know I'm going to get flack because you know something, blah, blah, blah. But that's just how I feel. And then it says something about climate change is the poles shifting to make Phoenix, Arizona, United States of America, the new Zion paradise. So I don't know what that means yet. I haven't got any consciousness to that at all. But down here it says, I don't know if you can read it, it says Colton understands. Colton's my brother. So this just showed up in my Google Photos like so many other things. My son helps me. He was gifted he was very gifted. He was a bulletin board operator. I don't know if you know what those were, but it was the beginning of email. And I went into his room one day and I saw this blue, it was DOS. I saw these blue texts start typing, like somebody was talking to Trevor. Now, I had never seen anything like that in my life. And it turns out he's a bulletin operator and one of the founders of email. And I found that out after he died. He was on the credits of some documentary about founding email and the bulletin board operators. And he was one of them. And he was like 11. He helps me spiritually with my computer work because I have no ability to figure things out. And all of a sudden, sometimes I'll feel my mouse moving. Like, I don't know what to do, but my mouse will move for me. Like, crazy. Well, anyway, I am not what you imagine me to be. I am what I imagine me to be, and I want you to feel the same way. You can write this down for yourself. If anybody's judging you, you can say this. And what I want is, this is a hokey pokey clinic. I had this meme from my when I worked at the Family Wellness Center as a clinical hypnotherapist. I am a place to turn yourself around if you want. If you're happy and you enjoy your world, go on. But if you want to turn yourself around, I may have some ideas for you on how you can do that and free yourself of this nightmare. And here is another one that just showed up in my this. I couldn't believe it because I was a Christian, right? And this showed up. This year I want to be more like Jesus. Hang out with sinners, upset religious people, tell stories that make people think, choose unpopular friends, be kind, loving, and merciful, and take naps on boats. These came before my consciousness of who I am and my story. I saw this as well. It's a clip out. I don't know where it came from. And it says, most people rejected his message. You need to ban psychopaths from positions of power. That's Jesus. And the mass is saying, shut up. They hated Jesus because he told them the truth. So when Jesus was murdered, it was with the blessings of the people, or it wouldn't have happened. And part of my consciousness split the brain. I saw that our brains have been split into two hemispheres. We're all born with the right brain, with intuition, heart, nonsensical, music, create, ideas, imagination, senses, sensitivity, emotions, poetry, empathy. It's elastic, it's flexible, it's got wisdom, it's infinite, and it's right. The left brain is what we're to build here. So we're all born this, and then we're to build a left brain. Well, this is our ego, and it's going to be our story, but we've walked into the Garden of Eden's ego and story, and it doesn't belong to us. It's about physical, logical, calculated, science, memory, math, rules, money, order, temple, law, military. It's proven and structured. And that's what we all go by. This, I don't know how much of this, you can look at your own brain and see how much left brain you are, or how much right brain you are. But if I were you, I would really try and focus on your right brain, because this dies and goes to ash, and this is what survives. And if we're losing our family and love and empathy and for this side, that's when we're in soul trouble. We're in big time soul trouble, giving up our right brain. And Jesus said that too. Never turn your conscience over. Never turn your will over to anyone else. I did this little playful thing too. You know, I had a lot of fun with this when I was in PTSD. It seems to be the triangle with wings. The first thing that happens is we're born with human senses, and we try to play in shit. We try to get dirty and play and figure things out. But here now, we get educated ego, and we learn shit. Then we have a rude awakening. Holy shit. We hate shit, and no one cleans up. So we begin to hate our lives, fuck our world, fuck my life. You heard people say that? And then curious, like, what is going on here? What the hell is going on here? And then you become woke, and you have this thing, change this shit. Change this shit. You want to change this shit. And then you become enlightened, and the shift happens in you. And you play with your senses fearlessly. You manifest abundance and living and a joyful living experience. You can do that now, even in the satanic world. And then you are an ascended master to yourself. And I don't know, it's just something I did without any thought. You gotta be a kid again. No matter how big and bad you are, when a 2-year-old hands you a toy phone, you answer it, right? And it's okay to play like that and have those joyful moments. That's what we need. We need more joyful moments. But we have to create them from our right brain. They're not created over in the left brain. Oh no, that's the military. You must love in such a way that the person you love feels free. You free your people. Free them from your judgment. And now I want to talk about orbs and spirit. This was in 2007, right after my dad died. Can you see these orbs? Here's an orb here on the one side of me, and here's on the other, right and left side. This is my father and son in spirit. Orbs are everywhere. They have to wear a protective bubble, and the protective bubble is because of this atmosphere being so dense and so heavy and bad energy. They have to come in a bubble. Now I've seen these bubbles outside too, and I've seen stars that don't seem normal. This is outside of my house. When I first moved here, I saw this strange thing. It seemed to be following me around, to tell you the truth. And I just took a picture of it. And there it is. And I'm going to show you even closer up. Can you see? It's got the same look as the orbs in the picture with my father and son. You can go back and look. They're orbs. They're spirits, big spirits. So, before I go to this one, orbs are meaningful, but they can also come in the form of just maybe you can hear or you can feel or just sense that spirits are around you. You don't have to see it to be there. They're everywhere. There's a movie on Netflix about all the spirits in Palestine right now. There's spirits everywhere, guys. And there's many books on the subject. I would trust the ones that aren't popular with lots of money and good production. It just, a lot of times people's regular stories are hijacked by money and they sell out, and then it becomes, they put in some falsehoods. I read many books and there was falsehoods put into those books, like Many Lives, Many Masters by Dr. Brian Reese. He was a Yale or Harvard graduate psychiatric guy who did hypnosis on a woman for 5 years, and he was detailing her experiences in hypnosis. I met him in Seattle, Washington. It didn't work. His hypnosis didn't work. And now that I woke in 2016, he's a liar, and he's Jewish, and he totally lies. Talking about many masters, right? And it keeps you enslaved. So the popular books you've got to be very careful to, like Doreen Virtue, another very popular one with her number thing. No, you have to trust your numbers, not hers. You have to know what your numbers mean and not look for answers outside of yourself. Thou shalt have no other gods before thee. It's something you have to start figuring out for yourself. Don't chase people. Be an example. Attract them, work hard, be yourself, and the people who belong in your life will come and find you and stay. Just do your thing. And that's what I'm doing. Unfortunately, nobody's coming into my world and staying, and that's okay with me. This is my story, and I'm doing my heart justice with the work I do in doing these videos to try and help the world. And that's the best I can do. Honey, you were born and died many times. It's not just me. I'm not special there. You are the soul who has lived all of your lives. I think the reward for conformity is that everybody likes you except yourself. Change your mind. Wash away the old, guys. Rinse and repeat. Keep doing it. Keep trying. Baby steps. One step at a time. Sometimes the smallest step in the right direction ends up being the biggest step of your life. Tiptoe if you must, but take the step. And be very careful of who you disrespect, disregard, dismiss, or dishonor in the flesh, because you have no insight of their rank in spirit. We all come and choose different roles. I look at Donald Trump, right? And he's a billionaire and he's got all the respect in the world and all this, whatever. But I see his spirit is so shriveled up and retarded. Like, he just has zero insight. And we admire the ones with money and we assume that they know all or they're the best or you judge and you get it wrong every freaking time. Same with Gary, molesting my son like that and taking my life, destroying us really. And yet everybody admires him. This is going on everywhere. And that's why I distance myself from people for a reason. You cannot save people, you can only love them. This is a message for you. You are the artist of your life. Don't give the paintbrush to anyone else. I don't always criticize the greed of the wealthy, psychopathic, warmongering elites. But when I do, you can be guaranteed some poor working class, ignorant, brainwashed moron will leap to their defense. That's what goes on. That's my life. That's the story of my life. Well, sorry for the inconvenience, but we are trying to change the world. So my parents and my son and my grandmother came and they just lived their normal life, but they did things in their unconsciousness that connect to my story today. I'm here to repair the reputation of Jesus and my father. Like, that's my father and son are twin flames of the same spirit, and they were so badly maligned here, and so am I. And I'm here to repair them because I'm the last one alive left, and my grandchildren don't want anything to do with me. So this is it. And we're trying to change the world, to bring love back, to bring Christ back, to make sure that our children are not abused and turned over to schools and daycares. He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe. So if you feel good and balanced and in harmony with yourself, you are also in harmony with the universe, and good things happen. I get miracles every day. Whatever I need or want shows up at the door. And I'm here to raise up Maries, Tina Marie. Raising up Maries. I will feed you, emotionally support you, and let you live your life all day long. But doubt my intentions or interfere with my joyful purpose, and my reactions will hurt. Be offended by things that really matter, or we never meet again, or we meet no more. Nana Marie, 2017. It was right after the beams of light. I felt that sure. So that's it. That's my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it and are getting some value and strength. It's all about spirit enlightenment of you, because one person at a time, and we can change the world. And just to go back to this, where it went, I obviously picked I don't know how that got in there, but few people know that the original Greek translation of Apocalypse means lifting of the veil, or revelations, a disclosure of something hidden from the majority of mankind in an era dominated by falsehood and misconceptions. Far from being a horrible experience, it represents the revealing of the true nature of things. It ushers in a new era of forgotten freedoms. I can't really read that anymore. Can't see it, but anyway, that's what it is, and that's where we're at, and that's what's going to happen. We can't change the world's story. It's going to keep going on. We can only change ourselves individually, one at a time. And if you're not ready, you're not ready. Then go and do something else, but maybe one day you'll remember me. And you want to take heed that you are Christ. I don't care if you think it's blasphemy. If calling a baby Christ is blasphemy, well, fuck you and go to hell. You know, this is how you treat people for the first place. You know, everybody's got an opinion because they went to school or they saw it on TV. Well, I have no opinions. All I have is my story and my spiritual experiences and things I want to bring. And sometimes it doesn't come out all right and it sounds a little scattered. Well, forgive me. But my world has been shattered and then rebuilt. I am saved. And I want you to save yourself too. Because the only one in the world who can save you is you. And that's by a willingness to erase the old or rebuke this world. And I think Jesus said that too. You got to rebuke this shit. You got to say it's evil. And if you can't see it's evil and you can't say it's evil, then you're part of it. And you're going to see that. And it'll be a very, very bad time. We'll come right back. You'll come right back. But there are spirits that are woke now, especially in women, a couple of men too, I noticed. They're not coming back. And they're making that decision here and now. And there are stars in the sky clinging to the North Star, I feel it is. And they are saying that we're not coming back. We're not coming back here. We can't raise children here, guys. It's the imagination has grown out of hell, and this is full-blown hell on earth for children now, on every continent. Living in fear and living under such tight control and having to go to school every day, all day, and then study at home or given devices to have a life. You can't play with your own senses or your own imagination. It's not worth life anymore. And that's what the stars are saying. Whether or not you choose to believe me is up to you. But the feminine spirit, the one with the right brain, is not coming back. If you're all left brain, I don't know what happens to you here. I heard it goes up to ash. So is it worth it to give up life for the fantasy? Do you know the difference between fantasy and reality anymore? Well, reality is love, and fantasy is judgment and fear. It's not real. Okay, I think my supper was ready there, so I'm going to go. And my time on the clock says 6:25, and that's my message from Trevor. So I wish everybody a really good night, and I hope you leave me a like or a comment. Share if you feel compelled to. I hate asking for things, you know. I've never been able to ask for anything, but I am now. I'm putting myself out. I'm stretching myself a bit and asking you to care. Care more than you've ever cared before about human life because it's going. That's the message. We're losing the right to life when the stars leave.